Hello my friends who are listening to Ebird Online, and finally, it's the last week of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 Days Season 6, and I'm going to make a valiant attempt at wrapping up all the stories from this season's couples. And guys, please note the use of the word attempt. And so first up, the couple I love to hate, and hate to love, Christian and Cleo. So the last time we saw this couple, it was at the Thanksgiving from hell. Cleo once more ambushed Christian with the use of Black Cloud. But guys, so bizarrely, Cleo then has spent the next few days after Thanksgiving oscillating between fawning over Christian and crying over Christian's seeming lack of care for her. If I consider what she wanted from this relationship, I don't think she's handled it very well. Now, I'm not going to say that she has wrecked this relationship herself. We do know that Christian did deny having sex with her to production and has also been pestering women in bars. Something which he realises Chloe doesn't like. So I'm not going to blame everything on Chloe. But it has to be said, for every time that Christian does something wrong, Chloe talks about it approximately 49 times. And guys, it kind of reminds me of my dad growing up. I'd do something wrong and get bollocked for it, but then my parents would bring it up again a couple of weeks later. Wait 1 minute, I've already been grounded, I've done the crime, I've done my time, why can I still hear about this? And to some extent, that's kind of how I feel about Chloe. She's never left this fact of Christian denying sleeping with her to producers alone. And guys, if you haven't seen my video from last week on Riley and Violet, we find out that those guys slept together and somehow managed to keep it from producers. So I guess it happens on this franchise. I wasn't aware it did, but I guess it does. Anyway, before we get into this week's video, thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed to my channel so far. I really do appreciate it. I've hit 47,000 subscribers. Guys, I'm on my way to 50k. So thank you. But if you've yet to do so, please consider smashing that big red button and making Ebird a very happy Ebird. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell and to smash the like button if you enjoy the video, and if you know anybody else ridiculous enough to watch 90 Day Fiance, then guys, please consider sharing to social media. Thanks guys. Right guys, without further ado, I give you Christian and Cleo. So guys, if there's one thing I can say about Cleo, it's that she's got an astonishing talent for taking a great time and turning it into a sombre as fuck time. She's one of the best I've ever known. She never fails, she's very good at it. She should deliver courses and teach doomsayers all she knows. Guys, if she could bottle it and sell it, she'd be straight up swapping a Christian for a Razvan. Bible guys, Bible. And so guys, last week, the couple went to get donuts for breakfast, as you do, and Chloe decided once more to talk through their troubles.
Some of the things that Christian said about his interactions with women were definitely red flags to me, and I am worried about faithfulness.
And then she theorised that maybe Christian gets bored in relationships, and when he does, he tries to seek a thrill elsewhere. Guys, I think that's very true. It's kind of spot on. I think he just does this whole chatting up girls for the thrill of it. Yeah, his thrill, not theirs by the way. And then Cleo makes another excellent point when she said even if he's not chatting up the girl, it makes cheating a lot more likely if you consistently put yourself in these situations. Bingo, spot on, I couldn't agree more. Guys, what do they do when they want animals to mate in the zoo? They put them in the same cage, that's it. And so the couple sit in the street and they munch on their donuts. And so Cleo asks Christian straight out, where do I stand in this relationship? Are we going to be exclusive when you go home? And Christian didn't understand to start off with. He said, what do you mean? Am I going to go and find somebody else? And he said, yeah, I want to continue being exclusive. And guys, this made me laugh because Christian thinks they're already exclusive. I think it's a difference between Gen Xers and then Millennials and Gen Zs. Millennials and Gen Zs have got a whole litany of stages which make up the relationship. And guys, these are all stages which take place before becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. So the first one is talking to each other, and that means DMing, texting and sexting. And guys, then they move seamlessly on to hooking up, which is a baffling phase where you're sleeping with each other, but there are no labels on the relationship. And if the hookups continue for long enough, you meander into the strange world of a situationship. This is usually characterised by one party being more involved in the relationship than the other. If this were not the case, you'd just be fuck buddies. In the highly unlikely event that the situationship moves forward, you might move on to seeing each other, but not exclusively. Which means it's impossible for anybody to cheat. Which means to all intents and purposes, you are committed to each other to a point, but still if you feel like cheating, the other person has no redress for this behaviour. And then finally, you become exclusive. That means you're boyfriend and girlfriend, and neither one of you should be talking to anybody else or sleeping with anybody else. But far more importantly, guys, finally, you can post each other on Insta. These kids make me die. BLI. Before Love Island, I knew none of this, I swear to God. It was a genuine surprise to me. I'm so old. In my day, you just said, do you want to go out with me? Yeah, okay then. And then that was your boyfriend. Guys, I gotta say, it was so much easier. Anyway, Cleo said to Christian, it would definitely make me feel very uneasy if you were hitting on single, lonely women in a bar. And then Christian told a gargantuan lie. Oh, good Lord, guys. This lie was one for the ages. It really did make me laugh.
I mean, there's nothing in the way that I approach women at a bar that would lead them to think that I'm hitting on them. So I feel like I have nothing to be guilty about.
Oh, Christian, absolutely and utterly stop with the cap. You are a liar. Anybody with two eyes saw how you flirted mercilessly with that girl in the bar. And so the couple went back and forth, and Cleo kept on saying, I don't want you to talk to lonely, vulnerable, single women. And Christian kept on saying, well, I want to continue doing that because there's nothing in it, and you're going to have to just deal with it. And guys, they never really managed to resolve this issue. And then Cleo started crying again, and I swear to God, guys, I don't know about her cries, they really do seem fake. At one point, I literally actually saw her squeeze out the tear. I don't know. Guys, I'm conflicted. It seems as if it's at really unnatural times when she just bursts out into tears. She burst into tears a couple of weeks ago when the astrology witch woman let slip the couple were about as compatible as Big Ed and Liz. But bizarrely, she's never mentioned it since. It really couldn't have been that big a deal. And then Cleo finished up by explaining the following.
When it comes to relationships, I sometimes can ignore some things that might not be ideal because I fear that if I am overly critical, that could, ruin our relationship. And yeah, I am worried that's what I'm doing with Christian.
Oh my good Lord, worry not, Cleo. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it anymore. There's not been a day this season when you haven't pulled up Christian on something or other. I don't believe that you know the concept of keeping quiet about issues which bother you. So the next time we see this couple, finally, Christian's back off to America. The pest is going back to the Midwest. And the couple have a piece to camera in which they both say they're going to miss each other terribly.
Cleo's feeling pretty somber and sad, and I am too.
I thought I'd be able to emotionally shut my emotions, but
well, I suppose at least this cry looks realistic. And Christian gives her a lovely back rub by way of consolation. And guys, I couldn't help but notice that Christian said, Cleo's really sad that I'm going, and I am too. He didn't sound so. And so the couple went upstairs to begin packing. Cleo gives him her best forlorn Labrador look, and she grabbed his hoodie.
What?
Can I keep this?
Babe, that's literally my favorite hoodie. Yeah, you can keep that. Next time I come, I'm taking it back. It's a rental for you.
So guys, this is super interesting to me. First up, he was extremely reluctant to let Cleo have the top. In fact, he called it his favourite hoodie. What? Guys, in the comments, please. Do you have a favourite hoodie? I guess you do. I guess that's a stupid question, really, but I don't know, it seemed quite strange to me. I looked at the garment and it seemed utterly replaceable. I guess much like he sees Cleo. Sorry, guys, that wasn't very nice of me. But the second thing I found interesting was this. Christian said, next time I come, I'll take it back. There's been no mention this whole time of Cleo going to visit him. And this is part of the reason why I think the whole thing is off. Who knows, perhaps Christian didn't really see much in this relationship, past the opportunity to go to London for a very cheap price. And then, yet again, Cleo brought up the whole issue of single ladies in a bar. Oh, good Lord, Cleo, bore off. She's been thinking some more about it, and she's come to the following conclusion. That maybe Christian gets bored in relationships, and when he does, he tries to seek a thrill elsewhere. Guys, I think that's very true. It's kind of spot on. I think he just does this whole chatting up girls for the thrill of it. Yeah, his thrill, not theirs, by the way. Anyway, Christian said that trust is an issue that the couple have to work on. And the truth be told, I disagree with that completely. They've already been working on the trust issue for the past 2 weeks. And I think you'll find you're at an impasse, you're at stalemate. You two are quite simply not right for each other, you're not a good fit. I know something else as well. If Christian really rated Cleo, if he thought Cleo was a 10 out of 10, he would, I'm absolutely sure, cease talking to random girls in a bar to see if he can score anything better. He'd stop twisting and just decide to stick. But he isn't doing because, well, I think he doesn't really rate Cleo.
For me, the high definitely overrides the lows because I feel like the highs have been really good.
Okay, before you start crying, stop crying, because I don't think that the negatives outweigh the positives at all.
Oh, really? Well, then you two are the only two that don't. To me, your relationship has been one long argument, and not even an interesting one at that. And so then Cleo finishes up the segment by explaining just why this relationship means more to her than it might for most.
However, as an autistic, transgender person, I have faced a lot of rejection and external prejudice that cis people wouldn't necessarily have to face. It is not easy to find somebody that accepts me for simply who I am. So I don't want to lose that.
And on this point, I do feel very sorry for Cleo. I do know it's difficult to find a relationship as a transgender person. And so I understand why there's so much riding on it for her. And I do wish that Christian had thought more about this and more about how Cleo would feel before he got into this relationship. But I do have to say, the inclusion of Black Cloud into this relationship was a misstep, a wrong move, an idiotic manoeuvre, because during those exchanges, Christian felt both attacked and, worse still, uneasy. And actually wholeheartedly believe that even if you do find it difficult to argue as an autistic person, which I don't really think that Cleo does, but whatever, even if you find it difficult, you're going to have to do this throughout the whole of your relationship and life. Black Cloud cannot always be there with you. And as such, you need to get used to and start practicing dealing with situations on your own. Also, try and see the wood for the trees. Do you honestly think that Black Cloud has your best interests at heart? No, she doesn't. She has her own best interests at heart. I think she's a misery guts, and she wants another fellow misery guts to hang around with, and that's you, Cleo. It was very clear to me she disliked Christian from the jump. And so finally, Christian gets into the car, and Cleo faces the wall in floods of tears, and then she dramatically turns back round, gives him one last wave, and Christian pisses off, back to America, and do you know what, guys? London's better off for it. Guys, you can let your girlfriends out now. Christian's gone. Yay! He really is a card. But as he drove to the airport in the car, Christian had a final few thoughts on this relationship.
There's still a lot of unknowns. I don't know if my family will be able to come to terms with who she is, or if we can overcome all of our issues. I just don't know.
Right, so I see what Christian's trying to do. He's trying to give responsibility for the decision-making process regarding this relationship to his parents. For he knows what they're going to say. No bueno. His girlfriend's transsexual, his skin's translucent, and his modus operandi, well, that's transparent. Christian, we all see you. Guys, that's where we end things for this season. So guys, all I want to know from you is, do you think this relationship will continue? Do you think it can work? For all the reasons that I've said over the past few weeks, I don't think that it can. But I'd also love to get your take on where you think it really went wrong. Was it that Christian just wasn't interested and he was chatting up women just so that he could demonstrate this to Cleo? Or do you think it went wrong with Denialgate, when Christian denied shagging Cleo to producers? Or do you think that Black Cloud was the death knell in their relationship? For what it's worth, I think it's a little bit of all three, but I'd love to know your take, so please put your comments down below. I'm going to get on with my next video. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please don't forget to smash that like button. And also, if you've yet to do so, please subscribe. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.
You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here